All right, real talk. Most people use Google Flights wrong. I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying it because I used to use it wrong too. You type in your destination, you pick the dates you already decided on, you look at the prices, you maybe sort by cheapest, and then you just kind of accept whatever you see. But Google Flights has a whole layer underneath that, features that literally do the research for you, and almost nobody from DFW is using them. Today, I'm going to fix that. I'm walking you through 8 features, step by step, on screen, starting from scratch, that I personally use every single time I book a flight out of DFW. These aren't hacks, these aren't myths. This is just Google Flights used the way it was designed to be used. By the end of this video, you're going to have a complete search sequence you can run in under 15 minutes that will almost always get you a better price than whatever you were about to book. If you caught the last video, Credit Cards for DFW Travelers, I mentioned we do this one next. Here it is. Let's get into it. Quick context before we dive in. I'm based in Irving, which puts me about 10 minutes from DFW and maybe 25 from Love Field, DAL. That dual airport situation is actually a significant advantage if you know how to use it, and I'm going to show you exactly how in just a few minutes. Everything I'm showing you today is free. No app downloads, no subscriptions, just Google Flights, which you already have access to right now on your phone or computer. I'm going to go section by section, show you on screen what I'm clicking and why, and then at the end, I'll give you the full sequence I personally run whenever I'm starting a trip search from scratch. Screenshot that final slide if nothing else. Let's start with the feature that single-handedly changed how I book flights. This is the date grid, and it is the single most powerful underused feature on Google Flights. Here's what you're looking at. You've got departure dates across the top, day by day. You've got return dates down the side. And every cell in that grid shows you the round-trip price for that exact combination of dates. The green squares, those are the cheapest combos. The darker the green, the better the deal. Now, watch what happens when I move the departure from Friday to Tuesday. You see that? That's a $140 difference for the exact same trip, just leaving on Tuesday instead of Friday. From DFW, Tuesday and Wednesday departures are almost always cheaper than Friday or Saturday. Airlines know most people want those weekend flights, so they charge more for them. Here's the mindset shift I want you to make. Most people pick their dates first, then search for prices. That's backwards. Use the date grid before you commit to dates. Let the prices tell you when to go, then work your schedule around it, especially if you've got any flexibility at all. From DFW, shifting your departure by just 1 or 2 days can realistically save you $100 to $300 on a round trip. That's not nothing. That's a hotel night. That's dinner for 2 in a foreign city. Quick tip, if you're planning a trip around an event, a birthday, an anniversary, you can still use this. Just look at the range of prices around your target dates. Even flying back 1 day later can sometimes cut $80 off the return leg. Use the date grid before you commit to anything. That's the rule. Right next to the date grid tab, you've got the price graph. This one is exactly what it sounds like. A bar chart showing you prices across a full month so you can instantly see which week is cheapest to fly your route.
Where the date grid helps you nail down the exact day, the price graph helps you zoom out and pick the right window. If you're flexible on which weekend you travel or you're planning a trip 2 or 3 months out, this is where you start. From DFW, here's what I've seen consistently over the years. For transatlantic routes, London, Paris, Rome, January and February are your cheapest months. September and October are close seconds. Summer is expensive because everyone's going. December is expensive for the holidays. But late January out of DFW to Europe, that's where the deals live. For Caribbean and Mexico, Cancun, Punta Cana, Tulum, summer can actually get cheap because it's hurricane season and demand dips. It sounds counterintuitive, but the deals are real if you're comfortable with some weather risk. Here's the nuance, though. Don't just book the cheapest day if it wrecks your trip. If the cheapest week to fly is a week you can't take off work, it doesn't matter how low the bar is. Use the price graph to understand the range. If you know a $400 round trip to London is possible, you won't settle for $700 in March. Use price graph plus date grid together. Double confirmation. Now you know the right month and the right days within that month. Okay, this one is my favorite to show people because they always lose it a little when they see it. Go to flights.google.com, put DFW in the origin, Leave the destination completely blank and hit search. You get a world map with price bubbles on hundreds of destinations. Every bubble is a real current price from DFW. You can filter by trip length, long weekend, 1 week, 2 weeks. You can filter by budget. You can even filter by interests, beaches, mountains, cities. This is the answer to, I have $400 and a long weekend. Where can I actually go from DFW right now? Google Flights answers that question for you, instantly, with real prices. That's extraordinary. From DFW, what I typically see on the Explore map, Caribbean destinations pop up cheap in summer, $250 to $350 round trip to Cancun or Nassau is not unusual. Europe gets cheap in January and February. I've seen DFW to Paris for under $500 round trip in the off-season. The best use case for this feature? Anniversary or birthday trip planning when you're open to destinations. Tell your partner or travel partner, here's what we can afford, here's what's available, let's pick. You're not stuck choosing between a handful of options you thought of yourself, you're seeing everything within your budget. And honestly, sometimes the best trips I've taken started with, I had no idea I could afford to go there. This one is DFW specific, and if you live anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you need to start doing this every single time. We've got 2 airports here, DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth International, which is where most of you are flying from, and DAL, Dallas Love Field, which is about 20 minutes away depending on where you're coming from. Southwest flies out of Love Field. Spirit, American, Delta, they're at DFW. Here's what most people don't know. Google Flights lets you add multiple departure airports in the same search. You click the little plus button next to the origin field, type in DAL, and now your search is looking at flights from both airports simultaneously. Sometimes Love Field will have a better price on a specific route or a different connection that works better for your schedule. Now you're seeing all of it in one search instead of running 2 separate searches and trying to compare mentally. You can do the same thing on the destination side. Going to Europe, but open to either London or Paris? Add both LHR and CDG as destinations. Google Flights will show you prices for both routes together. You pick the best deal. One major caveat. Southwest Airlines does not list its fares on Google Flights. Never has. Southwest has always had a direct-only policy. You have to go to southwest.com to see their Love Field prices. So the full move here is run your multi-airport Google Flight search with DFW plus DAL, and then open southwest.com in a separate tab and check Love Field manually. Don't skip that second step. Southwest can be significantly cheaper on certain routes, especially domestic. 8:15 to 9:45. You don't have to stare at Google Flights every day waiting for prices to drop. Google Flights will do that for you. On any search results page, you'll see a Track Prices toggle. Turn it on. That's it. Google will now monitor that route and email you when the price changes, specifically when it drops significantly or when it's about to go up. But there's more than just the alert. Right there on the results page, Google tells you whether the current price is low, typical, or high for that route and time of year. This is based on historical price data. Google's seen millions of searches on this route, and it's telling you where this price falls relative to the norm. Low means this is a good price. Seriously consider booking now. Typical means this is normal, nothing special. High means prices are elevated. Wait if you're flexible. This is genuinely one of the most useful things on the entire page, and it's easy to miss because it's quiet about it. Look for it every search. My recommendation? Set alerts on multiple route variations simultaneously. Don't just track DFW to LHR. Also track DFW to LHR non-stop versus one-stop. Prices can be wildly different. If you're going to Mexico, set one for DFW to CUN and one for DFW to MAX. Price alerts are free. They don't commit you to anything, and they mean you're not leaving money on the table because you happen to search on the wrong day. 9:45 to 11:15. Most people open the filters, see a bunch of options, and close it again. Here's what actually matters. Non-stop only. Click this first. See the premium you're paying for a direct flight from DFW?
Then turn it off. Now you can make an informed decision about whether saving $150 is worth a layover. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but you should know the gap. Bags is underrated. When you click bags and add a checked bag or a carry-on, the total price on the results page recalculates to include that bag fee. This is massive when you're comparing basic economy fares. A Spirit or Frontier flight that looks $80 cheaper might actually be the same price or more once you add a bag. Connecting airports. If you've had bad winter connections through Chicago O'Hare, you know why this exists. From DFW, if you're doing a one-stop to Europe, you might route through ORD, JFK, or EWR. If ORD in January is not your idea of a safe connection, filter it out. You can exclude specific airports from being your layover point. Duration. Set a maximum flight time. For DFW to Europe, I personally set a max of about 12 to 13 hours. Anything more than that, and I'd rather pay a little more or change my itinerary. You do what works for you, but set it so you don't accidentally book a 19-hour odyssey trying to save $60.
Airlines filter. Here's the smart use. Deselect basic economy carriers to see an apples-to-apples comparison of main cabin fares. When you're comparing American versus Delta versus United for a main cabin seat, you want to see those three prices side by side, without a Spirit basic economy fare muddying the view. Use the filters intentionally. They're not just for limiting results, they're for understanding the trade-offs. Google Flights is a search engine. It is not a booking platform. When you click through to book, you're going either to the airline's website directly or a third-party site, an OTA, an online travel agency like Expedia or Priceline. Here's the rule I follow and that I recommend to everyone. When prices are equal, always book direct on the airline's website. Why? 3 reasons. First, changes and cancellations are dramatically easier when you booked direct. You're a customer of that airline. You're not a customer of Expedia who has a booking with the airline. That distinction matters when flights get disrupted. Second, you get miles and status credit. Some OTA bookings don't earn miles at all or earn them at a reduced rate. When you book direct, the airline knows you and credits your account properly. Third, customer service. If your flight gets canceled and you booked through an OTA, you might spend 3 hours on hold with both the airline and the OTA pointing at each other. If you book direct, you've got one phone call to make. Now, when should you consider a third-party price? If an OTA is showing you a price that's significantly lower, more than $50 below the airline's direct price, it's worth a few minutes to investigate. Open the airline site in a new tab. Search the same flight. Sometimes the airline site has a fare that the OTA is also seeing, but the OTA is showing a bundled deal that brings the price down. Sometimes it's a data lag and they're the same price. One more thing. I know you've heard the incognito mode trick, the idea that Google Flights tracks your searches in cookies and raises prices when you search repeatedly. This is a myth. Google Flights uses live airline fare feeds. It doesn't change prices based on your search history. You can open it incognito if it makes you feel better, but it doesn't affect what you see. I just want you to have correct information. All right, this is the part I want you to screenshot or save. This is the complete search sequence I run every single time I'm starting a new trip search from DFW. 7 steps. Step 1, go to flights.google.com. Set your origin to DFW and DAL. Click the plus button next to the origin. Add both airports. You're now searching the full Dallas market, not just one airport. Step 2, leave your dates flexible. Open the date grid first. Don't type in dates yet. If you know your rough travel window, enter a month range and open the date grid immediately. Let the prices guide your date selection. Step 3, check the price graph for the cheapest month. If you're a few months out and have flexibility, zoom out to the price graph, find the cheapest week, then zoom back in on the date grid to find the cheapest day combination in that window. Step 4, Enable track prices on your best 2 to 3 options. Don't commit yet. Turn on tracking for the 2 or 3 strongest combinations you've found, maybe DFW to LHR nonstop in your target week, and DFW to CDG as a backup. Let Google watch for you. Step 5. If your destination is flexible, run the Explore map. Go back to the home page, leave the To field blank, hit Search, and see the map. Especially useful if you haven't locked in a destination or if you want to compare 2 or 3 options geographically and price-wise.
Step 6. When the price indicator says low and you're ready, book direct on the airline site. When your price alert fires and says the price dropped, or when you're actively searching and the page says price is low, that's your buy signal. Open the airline website in a new tab, search the same flight, confirm the price matches. Book there, not on Google. Step 7. Screenshot your confirmation, forward it to your email, add it to your calendar. Basic, but I've seen people miss flights because the confirmation went to spam. Screenshot it on your phone the second it loads. Forward the confirmation email to yourself with a subject line that's easy to search. Add the flight to your calendar with departure time and airport. Done. 7 steps. You can run this whole sequence in 10 to 15 minutes. And if you do it consistently, you will find better prices than most people you know, not because you have some secret tool, but because you're using the free tool that's right in front of everyone, the way it was actually designed to be used. That's the full Google Flights breakdown. 8 features, 1 complete sequence, all from DFW. Quick recap of what we covered. Date grid. Find the cheapest day combo before committing to dates. Price graph. Find the cheapest month. Explore map. Find a destination when you're flexible. Multi-airport search. Use DFW plus DAL together and always check southwest.com separately for love field. Price tracking. Let Google alert you when prices move. Filters. Bags, connecting airports, duration, airlines. Use them intentionally. Book direct. Always book on the airline site when prices are equal. The 7-step DFW sequence, your repeatable process from now on. If this was useful, subscribe. I drop new videos on DFW travel, flight deals, and booking strategy regularly, and I'm always coming from the perspective of someone who actually lives here and flies from here. Next video, best budget airlines from DFW and when to actually use them. Spirit, Frontier, Allegiant, Southwest. I'm breaking down exactly when the low-cost carriers make sense from DFW and when they'll cost you more in the end than you saved on the fare. That one goes up soon. Comment below, what's a destination you've been wanting to book from DFW but haven't pulled the trigger on yet? I read all of them and they genuinely help me figure out what to cover next. See you in the next one.